Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. So Trump basically just came out, in his Truth Social and, gave us the insight that we've all been talking about for pretty much from the day that Biden was inaugurated. That wasn't Joe Biden. And, Trump was saying for quite some time, he's been shot. He doesn't even know he's alive. He's been shot. He's shot. So it's coming to realization now. I think for a lot of people that this is actual truth, especially when Trump just recently on his Truth Social posted this exact thing. So here it is. This is Donald J. Trump. This is his check mark. You go all the way up to the top. So he's got 9.83 million followers. You can scroll down in his Truth Social account, and you come to this particular spot, and it says, "There is no Joe Biden executed in 2020. Biden clones, doubles, and robotic engineered soulless, mindless entities are what you see. Democrats don't know the difference." So, we've been talking about this for 4 years. That basically they came in and they had the auto pin, and they just rolled through all that they wanted to get in for the last 4 years, and it was a huge exposure because you can't tell most people. You can't tell. I mean, Democrats, prime example. You ask most Democrats, and they still believe that's Joe Biden. So without doing what they just did over the last 4 years, most people would not have woken up. And what we've seen is basically a massive reveal so that people can wake up. Now, this same type of reveal is going to continue. And now that the cat's been let out of the bag, Trump is not going to just come right out on, national news yet, perhaps, and say that that's Joe Biden 2.0. He's going to, like he did before, Biden doesn't even know he's alive. He's shot. It's mind shot, right? Yeah, his mind was definitely shot. So, how many NPCs, Jill? I don't know. We've done some looks at that, and I say there's upwards of 80%. Some people say higher. So it's basically just people just kind of like wandering through this consciousness space and just looky-looing, right? While the rest of us are busy, creating the world of the future. We're going to have a little challenge, of course, because there's people in here that are trying to manipulate in a negative way what our reality is going to be. So yeah, it's going to get a little crazy, cray. I think for the next year and a half or so. But we are great creators, and we have God working with us. So as long as we continue to do that, that's what's going to happen. So what else is being revealed? Well, you have Putin also revealing that the election was stolen. So he just came out recently in a post where he's saying that the 2020 election was stolen. He said it. So again, if Trump doesn't outright say it, then you don't have the Trump derangement syndrome people saying, "Oh, he's just trying to manipulate everybody." So it comes in from another angle. If people get to see over the last 4 years, through auto pin signatures that we're starting to see now, and also, you go back and look at, his ear when he was the old Joe Biden had a earlobe that was not attached, and the new one had one that was attached. And I've never seen anyone, get the earlobe, through plastic surgery moved around or whatever. It really, and over the last 4 years, we've been repeatedly posting the old Biden and the new Biden. It's like a completely different person. You have to be completely and unalterably at this point brain dead to believe that the person that was playing Joe Biden over the last 4 years was the real Joe Biden. All right. So it's coming out in multiple ways now. It's a great, huge, massive reveal. So didn't those people that, were bamboozled for those 4 years feel bad about it? And it's like, well, I thought it was him. And now I know, because everybody and the whole world is like saying that it wasn't him. So how much longer will the Biden family try and use that clone or whatever the hell actor, Joe Biden slowly deteriorating, got cancer? Oh, just happened to have cancer just recently, and it's aggressive cancer, I guess. So how much longer does he have? And will they try and play on our heartstrings when he goes away? Because that's coming. He will go away. Now, is this part of like his? Okay, you're gonna be, executed. You're gonna be shot. And we'll make it good. We'll let your, mystique or whatever continue, your legacy continue for a little bit longer. But eventually people are going to find out. Maybe it'll be better for your family. Maybe it'll be better for blah, blah, blah. And so maybe he talked. And maybe there's other people that have been wrapped up. Because I don't think there's a lot of people from that group that are still around, guys. I think a lot of actors, Obama, Hillary. We haven't seen Bill Clinton in a very, very long time, or even heard from him. Now that I'm saying it, probably because it'll activate, some kind of, AI or something. We'll probably see something on Bill Clinton pop up here pretty soon because I'm talking about it. And all of you are going to be like, yeah, we haven't heard from him in a long time. And so that's kind of the way it works. There's a lot of AI control out there. I remember probably almost 5 years ago when I was doing a show with Juan O'Savin, and he joked about it. He says, now watch this. And he was actually in the Trump hotel in Washington, D.C. back when Trump still owned it. He said, watch this. I'm going to show you how AI is involved right now. And I was like, AI is like, and work in the chat. And he's like, yeah, watch this. So he talked about how he was going to like go up on the roof and get picked up, like in back in Vietnam, where they came in and like picked up everybody because everything was falling apart. So he kind of joked about it. So then I started to see after the show that there were all this chat that came in. They're like, Juan is so stupid about talking about, Vietnam and all kind of, I was like, wow, wow. Because he joked it. And at the time, AI didn't understand humor and, relaying something else instead of the truth and joking it. The same thing that Trump just did, right? He made light of it. He made light of it back in 2012, 16 or 20, whenever it was. All right. So whenever the election was still 2020. So he's been joking this for a long time. So it's the same thing, guys. So you have to start to watch how this stuff is revealed. Now, one of the latest things, like I talked about, was Putin basically revealed. So Putin got punished, or did he? Did he? Because there was like some kind of crazy drone strike that they said they had worked on for like a year and a half or something crazy, and they came in and they had drones that were brought in on trucks, and these drones popped out of the top of these trucks from secret compartments from these trucks that had brought in this stuff and had parked them close to their target, which was these bombers, strategic bombers that could drop nukes. Now, when I was in the SEAL teams in the early days, this was back in 82. So I was 82, 83 maybe, probably closer there because I think it was my second platoon. And So we had what's called the shore field operation. And the shore field operation, basically a C-130 would come in low, and it would kind of like, land but not stop, right? It would kind of slow down a little bit, and the ramp would come down, and we had Jeeps that had, I had the Mark 19 grenade launcher, boom, 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 automatic. I love that thing. And then another vehicle had 50 cal. And so we would roll off the back, and we hit the Russian backfire bombers in Vietnam. Because after we left Vietnam, the Russians came in and they put strategic bombers there. So that was one of our targets. And we also had mortars and I think it was Mark 60 or M60 mortars that we would use to basically launch mortars, and it was probably going to be a one-way mission, right? So the C-130 was supposed to like circle around and come back and land, and we were going to get back on, and then it would fly away. Yeah, that's if we even got in there. But if we did surprise them, we were going to like mess up the backfire bombers, because it was one of those things where, all right, we're going to nuclear war with Russia, and so everybody go in. So another thing, a mission that I had was I think it was a B-54, something like that, SATM. It's basically a backpack nuke. So I was supposed to jump that in and blow up all these, mountain valleys and so forth that the Russian tanks would go through, and put a lot of rubble in there so they couldn't get through. It's like, yeah, there was a lot of crazy stuff back then. But now we're starting to see it again. All right. So we have the same BS. Have the same BS coming up again. It's all the scare tactics. The NATO Nazis. So NATO has to go away. It's just a Nazi organization at this point. And everyone that is backing NATO. So you see, Trump is no longer backing NATO. He's backing away from NATO. And then, of course, you have the drummers for NATO, and that's Keir Starmer, who I think, didn't he just get exposed for having sex with another man? Right. So how many men does he have to have sex with, guys, before UK people, before you get rid of that clown? So, and then we have, of course, Macron, who has a transgender man that pushes on his face, slaps him, whatever, and that's so crazy stuff. So Maloney, some people like Maloney, some people don't. I kind of like Maloney. I've had Leo Zagami on. He's not very fond of Maloney, and there's other people not very fond of Maloney. But I think she's got potential. I don't know. Some people have to do what they got to do. So who knows? It seems to be she talks the right thing, does the right thing happen. It happens. How it can to a certain level. So now we're seeing Ukraine has gone in and destroyed what they're saying. It was 40, then I've heard 18, and they said 100. And so there's all these numbers. These are strategic bombers. So they were laid out. You're going to see in this video that I'm going to share with you where they're stationed out in the open. I'm like, when I first saw that, I was like, that's bullshit. That's probably props or something. And they let them, and it could be still actually, where they're like making them think that there's bombers there, but I don't think those are bombers. But I wasn't there, so I can't say for sure. It looks like they came in and blew a bunch of them up. It all looks staged to me, all of it, the whole thing, and basically it makes the U.S. look bad, guys, because we have this START treaty with Russia, and we have an agreement that we monitor each other's strategic, nuclear bombing stuff. So they have to have their bombers out in the open. So who gave them that information? Ukraine has satellites up in the air. No, they don't. So NATO does. And NATO gave them the information. Did the U.S., did bad people within the U.S. military give them information? Totally possible. Totally possible. But anyway, whatever happened, it makes the the Russians look bad, but it doesn't really, because they had to have those out there for the SALT treaty on nuclear weapons. And now we have the incredible, flying drones that maybe all of them cost like $2 million, and they took out 2 billion or 7 billion or 20 billion or whatever worth of aircraft, depending on who wants to like blow the numbers up. So I don't know. It's very, very suspect to me, but maybe it's legit. Legit or not, what is going to be the repercussions for Ukraine for having done this? Because the U.S. has to respond to this. Will we see? I would say the response will be, since Ukraine has tried repeatedly to take out Putin, then maybe we'll see the leader of Ukraine go bye-bye, right? And that will be the way that the U.S. is like, okay, we're going to like make this problem go away, right? We're going to give you all this, all that you need to make this happen, and just make sure that we're not, it can be traced to us, right? That's the way these things work. I've seen this when I was in the CIA. I know how it works. All right, so let's watch.
This a brilliant operation and one for the history books. Ukraine targeted the enemy more than 2,500 miles from the front lines. The drone's eye view of a Russian airfield where bomber after bomber is blown up. More than 40 reportedly destroyed, including nuclear-capable long-range aircraft. In one of
Now, if this was back in the day when I was in, the SEAL team, what was I in? SEAL Team 3. Yeah, SEAL Team 3. So, I have like so many SEAL teams. So, SEAL Team 3, we basically, we back and forth. SEAL Team 1 would have the mission. They would have the guys that had the backpack nukes. There was only a couple guys in a platoon that could do that. I was one of the guys in my platoon, and then in the other platoon, the SEAL Team 1 platoon, they would take it for six months, and then we trade off with the other SEAL team, right? So SEAL Team 1 would have it, and then we trade off, and we do the short field operations, and we train for it, and we train with the mortars, we train with the Mark 19 and the 50 cal, and I loved it. It was fun. But imagine SEAL team guys like going in and hammering the bombers like this, just running down the runway, just firing them all up. No way they could take off, because we're basically aimed for the wheels. You aim for the wheels and the cockpit. So the cockpit, because you destroy the instrumentation, you take out the landing or the wheels that can't take off if it doesn't have wheels, right? So it would take a while for that to be replaced. And if you got to the point where you took out the instrumentation, that would also take a long time for that to be revealed, to be fixed.
Daring attacks of the war, dubbed Operation Spiderweb, and in the works for more than a year and a half. Dozens of drones rigged with explosives were hidden in the roofs of these empty containers, placed on trucks and smuggled to the perimeter of.
Now, how real does that look? So these containers were smuggled somehow into Russia with no one finding out. They're like, I guess there's little compartments in the roof. So shipping containers, I guess, is that the way they look like in Russia and Ukraine? I don't know. So you see the drone coming out the top, and basically somehow it opened up. I guess somebody was remote controlling these, and they went out and they had probably targets, built in, or something was targeting them. The satellite system was targeting them or something. So interesting.
Air bases remotely opened and launched. Russia confirmed military airfield across 5 regions were attacked. No casualties were reported. But also earlier today, in regions bordering Ukraine, 2 Russian.
So this is another thing. So we have saboteurs, special forces guys, evidently have been going into Russian areas and blowing up train tracks and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Bridges collapsed, derailing trains, killing at least 7. The cause unclear. Russia has been intensifying attacks too, sending nearly 500 drones into Ukraine in the last 24 hours.
All right, so Russia is winning this war, obviously, but Ukraine wants to let them know, hey, you need to deal with us because we can be deadly too. We're Nazis, and Nazis always win. Never. Right? Nazis never win. All right, so they believe they will be winning, and they've done pretty good over the last 50 years, however long it's been since World War II, whatever. So 50, 60 years. So 70, whatever, 80. So these guys are very, very amazing, very amazing at planning this stuff out. So you saw it's like a year and a half. So now today, they're supposed to be having peace talks. Does it look like Ukraine is in a position that they want to make peace? They're going stronger than ever, right? So who wants to make peace with somebody that's like attacking you on that level? Nobody. All right. So that's what they want. And then you hear Keir Starmer and all the other NATO Nazi puppets are, screaming that they're ready for World War III, while in back rooms they're doing each other. Right. Men, manly men. They love the manly men, obviously, and they love their drugs and they love to run around and have their fun. All right, just like in Nazi times in Germany. So it's the same thing. Is this what we want for the world? No, of course not. So Russia will continue to annihilate the Ukrainian Nazi army, right? So that's unfortunate that we're seeing this bloodshed, continue. But unfortunately, Ukrainian Nazis are not going to stop until they're completely gone, right? So if you want to, support the Nazis, that's up to you. But the Nazis don't like you. In fact, the Nazis are going to kill you, right? And that's what they do in this. There we go. All right. So we're going to continue to see this continuation of the Nazi war machine, and it's very, very frustrating to see these guys continue their games. But it's going to continue. So just like I was telling you guys, the START Treaty, if you look at this thing right here, this is the U.S. and Russia. U.S. Department of State. All right. So I talked about all the, started back in February 5th, 2018, and it's gone up to current timeframes. The United States and the Russian Federation have agreed to extend the treaty through February 4th, 2026. So Russia was doing the treaty right and had their strategic bombers, like you saw there, placed out on the tarmac so that our satellites could see that. But there is something in this, I haven't found it yet, but I've heard other people talk about it, where each party agrees that if some other party attack, then they will work to mitigate that or, take care of that, right? So just like I said, maybe something's going to happen in Ukraine. So watch Ukraine after this. You may see the United States basically give them the Russians, give them the thing that will make this right. Right. So I think that's going to happen. If I was President Trump, I would do that. Right. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Of course, he's not, like I said, he's not going to admit it. And he's going to say, okay, we're going to give you this information, but we don't want to trace back to us. Otherwise, we're not going to give you any other information. All right, going forward. All right. So meanwhile, we have dirty deeds done dirt cheap by the Nazis. Here we have Indonesia issues COVID-19 warning over surge in cases in Asia. There has been a rise in COVID-19 cases in Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, and Hong Kong as health officials warn about new strains emerging. This was 2 minutes ago when I first put this up. This is 2 June. So this is new, guys. I couldn't find the article, but I read it earlier. I read it early this morning. about many cases in China now. They're even thinking about, well, they are doing where they're finding students, where they're sending students home. I don't know how long the school year is in China. Maybe they don't have a break like we do in the United States. But they were talking about how students, if they tested positive, we're going to have to go home for the old 2-week, stand down, and then they have to get tested, and then they have to bring the test results before they go back into school. Sounds like the same thing all over again. Now they were talking about lockdowns, and just like we saw in the last Chinese COVID lie scam, right? Whether it was real or not, I don't know. Who knows? Because it's quite a little event that the Chinese are very mad because we're basically taking away all their money and their business. So they're going to fight back in some way. So I saw where people are talking about in confidence how it's much worse in China than they're letting on. Right? It's much worse. So I guess there's always a big summer surge. Is it going to happen again this year? I don't know. But it is very interesting that when you have Dr. David Martin, who has always been right on COVID, is saying that July 4th is when we're going to have the next one. Now, this audio from David Martin really sucks, but I'm going to play a little clip of it, and then I'm going to get out of it and then move it forward to where I believe the next portion is. And then I'll show you because I've talked about this actually before. I'll show you the information they're talking about, National Blueprint for Bioweapons. In it, they also have July 4th, 2024. They've already talked about it. They said it in the past. So now Dr. David Martin, who was super amazing during COVID, is bringing us up again.
Speculation. I'm really reading off the page. And people sit back and go, well, they certainly wouldn't be doing that. Well, I don't know. How are we doing so far? Our batting average so far is I've been right about these things every single time.
I've been right about these things every single time, going all the way back to the beginning of COVID. And he's saying that they intend another major bioweapon shutdown July 4th. And that would be fitting, right? That would be fitting.
That we're pointing at is that there's so many people who think that somebody else will do it. Right? One of our biggest problems is we're waiting for saviors. Yes. And
we're waiting for saviors. We have to get involved, guys. We have to know that these guys are planning this stuff for us again. And we have to point this out to each other and help other people wake up. Because we don't need another Event 201. Because remember, when they had Event 201, it was exact COVID. The COVID scamdemic was exactly as they had it in Event 201. So they have already come out with another one, and it's planned for July 4th, 2025.
Understand, we are being called on to take action. It's a daily exercise. And what I encourage people to do is daily share this content. Go to different people. Talk to the same person who hit you up for a political donation. Tell them you won't write another check until they do something with it. Like, use the tools you have.
All right. So someone that is up on all this stuff too, that gives me the back channel type stuff. He's saying that they're already starting to push the masks. I don't know where that is or what that is, but that was the insight that I got. So, these dirty people are going to try and do this stuff again to us, guys. I said it when the last one came out. This is nothing compared to what they're going to have for us in the future. So this is the National Blueprint for Biodefense, immediate action needed to defend against biological threats. This is April 2024. And within this, it has the names of the people that are problems. Right? So there you go. There's the names. There's the names. So you can look this up for yourself. National Blueprint for Biodefense, bipartisan, right? So we have both parties involved in the next pandemic. So that's good to know. They're working together for something finally. All right. So this is one of those ones where we have Brandon, the guy that predicted Trump's suicide attempt and how it was going to happen, how he was going to be shot in the ear, all kind of crazy stuff. He predicted the New Orleans, terrorist attack that happened during New Year's Eve. So this guy is pretty spot on a lot of his stuff. He predicted this like a year ago. I've been watching this. I've been watching his predictions, and I'm paying attention, and I'm moving my pieces on the chessboard accordingly. Right.
And a massive earthquake that was going to happen in America, and it was the Madrid Fault, and this was literally it was the largest earthquake that ever happened on the earth. And so whenever I saw it in my dream, it happened right by the Mississippi River, and it's like it split the Mississippi River and it made it bigger. And all the bridges that were on the Mississippi River collapsed, and they were all down. And the Lord showed me things were on fire. It was just
okay. So many people predict this. Any of you guys, Edgar Casey predicted this decades and decades and decades ago. All right. And many other people have seen this coming. Now, what I like to inform everybody about is consciousness can have an effect. I believe that 2012, December 21st, 2012 was supposed to be an event where things weren't going to go very well. So I'm looking at the numbers watching right now. It's 11/11. So it can have an effect. So that's the angels telling us right there that consciousness can have an effect. So there you go. But still, you have to be prepared. You have to be aware. That's what a good prophet will be able to inform people so that they can prepare and, maybe get out of the way, maybe even have a consciousness effect, like I've been talking about for quite some time, through my remote influencing, remote viewing, remote influencing. It's a skill that everyone has. We're all born with it. But it's, drummed out of us, but we can accomplish incredible things.
Devastation where this was. And I could see it went clear down to New Orleans area. It went clear up into Chicago area. It was massive. And all the bridges, like I said, fell. But there was no way for the semi-trucks to go from east to west. So they brought in these bridges that were on the Army. They were like floating bridges, and the Army brought them in, and they put them in all on up and down where the highways were, trying to make it where trucks could come in and out for emergencies. But they couldn't get the trucks from east to west, so they brought in planes, and the planes came in, and they flew the food in to the cities to get where the semi trucks couldn't get back and forth. They bring the food in, and they were trying to bring it in on humongous cargo planes, and they were flying it in so that the food could get throughout all the cities still in America. This was another dream. And then the Lord showed me massive helicopters, and they're the Chinook helicopters, and they were flying from the west. And I stood on the back porch in my dream, and I could see, and you could visibly smell fire in the air, and it was so strong that it was like you could, like how you see a haze from the fire whenever there's a grass fire. And so I could see, you could hear the helicopters flying low, and they were all coming like in lines. They were all in lines, and the helicopters were coming from the West Coast, and they were going to the East Coast. And it was where I live is in the central part of America. And so you could hear them coming, and they were so loud because there were so many of them at a time. They're all flying in formation. but there was probably like 30, 40 of them at a time. But it was so much it would shake the houses, and so you could see. I didn't watch the TV in the dream, but I knew that it was just like a 9/11 event. It was that big. It was like something that shook America. And so it was like everything was quiet, and I could look over across at my neighbors, but nobody was outside. They were all inside watching TV, watching what happened. And so this lion, and I looked up the stock exchange, and on the top of the building, there's lions all on the top, and it was the exact lion. And then in the dream, I could see the streets of New York, and they were completely I could see tumbleweeds, which was weird because I know there's no tumbleweeds in New York, but I saw tumbleweeds going down the street, and it was like desolate. There was nobody moving around. It was completely blank. Like the people all went and was hiding out or something because the whole government, everything was shut down again, kind of like COVID was. It was really weird.
Yeah, kind of like COVID. So that's probably, what they have planned. Whether that happens or not depends on, everyone here. And of course, many other people, because you have to participate in these things. And they got a lot of people to participate last time, but it was all PSYOP. So a lot of people are probably saying, I'm not going to fall for that PSYOP this time. And this one could be I think this one will be, if they do get it around, if it does come out, like I saw long before, that this one will be the devastating one, right? So we just have to be prepared. We have to plan for these different things, I believe, and we can make an impact against the negativity that's coming. Now, Mother Earth basically has these periods, these events where, there's cataclysmic events. We're moving into one of those periods. Again, consciousness can have an effect. Now, I've talked about this for a couple of weeks now, like blowing the shofar, which is basically my channel, just talking about this stuff. So it is a problem, I think, that's coming. Does the deep state have control of this? The deep state can, manipulate these energies and make them worse than they are. I don't think they're completely, making this happen. Just like we're having a massive, beautiful consciousness awakening event. Most of us that aren't NPCs, that is. Right? Then the rest of us, that survive these changes, because they happen, will be part of, the new Earth and so forth. So, or maybe there won't be any changes. Maybe not. We'll see. But I feel, unfortunately, that there will be some pretty good ones, and maybe not. So we haven't had them yet. So I basically, on my X account, because I was busy over the weekend, time with family. So I tried to do this show on a Saturday, but I just didn't have the time. I put it all together and then had to run at the last minute. But this is what's coming. This is what came. We had mega solar storms pushing Earth into energetic chaos. So this was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, we had multiple streams of energy come off the sun. Coronal mass ejection, solar sunspot, ejections. 3 of them. 3 biggies. All right. And we're being hit right now. And I said we would start being hit today at 1:00. So it has been happening. Maybe some people have had some crazy stuff. We've had Mount Etna erupt on a massive level and so forth. So let's listen to a little piece of this.
Can cause satellites to deorbit early and then burn up. So you have satellite failures. That's common. You can have radio blackouts. We've been having radio blackouts because of these solar flares. So radio communications, like ham radio, but also other critical radio communications can go down as a result of that. This is all on the technological side. You can also have geomagnetically induced currents that become very powerful. And when those are induced into very long transmission lines, that can cause power grid failures. whether small or large. We haven't seen a large one since really 1989 with the Quebec storm. A G5 impact triggered the power to go out in Quebec. What we had last year in May and also in October didn't trigger any significant power outages. So we got lucky that time. But that is always a possibility. Best evidence is actually for some of the most significant health effects, which would be cardiac infarctions, which is a heart attack, especially in older people and in sensitive individuals that have largest magnitude for the past 7.
All right. So I've been pointing out that when we get this these coronal holes and sunspot activity and so forth, that's when the earthquake and volcanic activity starts to heat up here, and it has been on Earth. So we're moving into this very active sun period. I've been talking about this for years, and here we're starting to experience it. Here's a little bit more information. So we have a geomagnetic storm that's impacting Earth today. Probably a lot of people, maybe somebody was saying all the way down to the Gulf. I don't think it's going to go that deep, maybe, but definitely in the northern, like Montana, I guess saw some pretty good, solar storms last night. So we'll probably see some very significant ones tonight as this energy really is hammering up. So what will this do? Now I've said that we have a couple areas that are hotspots that are about ready to go. One of those is off the coast of Oregon, where you have the plates there about ready to go. There's a volcano that's risen up. This could impact that. So we could have a massive tsunami from that, possibly. You heard from Brandon that he talked about the fault line, the Madrid fault line, basically, really getting hammered with a 10.0, which is massive earthquake, and splitting the center of the United States more. Obviously, the continents have split in the past. So is this just part of what Earth goes through? Possibly. So let's listen a little bit more.
Maximum 35, and it's still underway right now as I do this video. And going from the ionosphere to the magnetosphere, you can see it was also just completely overwhelmed. At times, flat as a pancake. This was one big storm. Right there is when it arrived officially, and you can see the energy interacting with the Earth's magnetic shields. They hung in there, but wow, did they take on a massive impact from the sun. Going up to St. Marie, Montana, Joseph the Night Watchman shared these incredible photos coming out of northern Montana, and I heard that auroras were seen all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Just an absolutely stunning.
So yeah, there's I don't know about that, but maybe maybe went all the way down the Gulf of Mexico. Maybe somebody was seeing things. All right, so massive eruption at Yellowstone, while simultaneous eruption at Kilauea. So almost simultaneous, within minutes of each other. So that's something to be aware of, because Yellowstone has been dormant for a long time, but now it is acting up. So it's going to be. I said for years, for decades, no, Yellowstone's not going to be activated, and now I'm like, yes, there is a possibility that Yellowstone will be activated. Right.
On Tuesday, May 27th, 2025, two of the world's most active geothermal phenomena, Yellowstone's geysers and Hawaii's Kilauea volcano, erupted simultaneously, shaking the landscape of their national parks and capturing world attention. The two incidents began at Yellowstone National Park, where thousands of visitors were enjoying the natural beauty of Yellowstone National Park when a loud roar shattered the silence. sound came from the giant geyser, which then erupted violently, spewing 400 feet of hot water into the air. The spray of hot water spread.
Now, think about this, guys. These are two volcanoes that are separated by 1,000+ miles, right? Long distance, right? And Kilauea goes off and Yellowstone goes off massively. So Kilauea is like over 1,000 foot, bam. And then this one and the geyser eruption in Yellowstone, massive, like hundreds and hundreds of feet. It's crazy. It's crazy that both of these happen simultaneously. So there is obviously a connection. There's a lot of magma under there that's pushing up under the earth right now. So think of the distance of both of those. Is there some kind of like underground connection between the two? No, I don't. Maybe, but I don't think so. I think the magma is just pushing up all along the ring of fire, and depending on the volcanic activity, because obviously Hawaii is has been very active. Volcanic activity for a long time. Now Yellowstone is a mega volcano, and if that goes off, that will cause a lot of damage. It will take out multiple states, if that baby goes off. And that's the same thing that we're seeing also in Naples again. So in Naples, there is a super volcano there as well. It's in the bay and everything. It's gone off obviously in the past, but that baby is awakening as well. So all of these major volcanoes, Mount Etna today basically blew up on a massive level. So and what is causing that? The energy from the sun. So the earth and the sun obviously have a connection. And when a lot of energy comes off the sun, it's going to impact earth and it's going to cause these earthquakes and volcanoes.
It's the area, leaving visitors both awed and terrified by the incredible power of nature. The hot water from the eruption even hit several trees in the area, creating dangerous steam and splashes. Fortunately, visitors responded quickly to the warning signs and quickly fled to safety. The eruption of Giant Geyser was sudden and violent, causing visitors who were around the geyser to run up to 30 meters away to save themselves. "I've never felt so scared before," said one visitor who witnessed the eruption firsthand. Continues to spew lava and hot jets from its crater. The eruption of Kilauea on May 27, 2025, has created an extraordinary natural phenomenon, so much so that it has been dubbed the eternal eruption. Since first coming back to life on December 23, 2024, the world's most active volcano has experienced a series of intense and repeated eruptive episodes.
All right. So I said that Kilauea would have a big earthquake and a massive eruption. But I said that months ago. It didn't have a big earthquake, but it has, continuously had eruptions of lava. So, I predicted it. I predicted it actually a year ago. It didn't happen. And then I predicted it again. It didn't have the big earthquake, but it did start to, cook out a little bit. And then it would cool down. It would turn off. And then it would like another one come out. And so every time it erupts, it's erupting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Is it going to blow? I think it's very possible. I think it might blow soon. So we'll see. So Yellowstone remains closed Yellowstone remains closed as scientists monitor volatile thermal pool. Yellowstone National Park Park's popular Biscuit Basin will remain closed to visitors throughout the summer of 2025 as scientists monitor a volatile thermal pool following a massive hydrothermal explosion in July of 2024. So this is basically, again, coming back to life. The dramatic event which occurred at Black Diamond Pool just north of Old Faithful sent boiling water and debris hundreds of feet into the air, obliterating a wooden boardwalk and forcing tourists to flee for safety. All right. So things, like I said, are coming back to life all around the planet, and it's getting kind of hectic. It's getting kind of hectic, right? That's beautiful, isn't it? I love those beautiful colors. That's some serious hot water. You wouldn't want to stick a toe in it. It'd cook off. It's super hot. All right, so earthquake activity is starting to increase now that the Earth has been impacted. We're seeing this today. Stefan Burns is talking about it. So this is Stefan Burns earlier today, was talking about the earthquake activity.
Which was just hours ago. That was June 1st, as you can see, at 22:17 UTC, Universal Time. So this area is still active and popping. We even have this earthquake right there, 5.0. Whole zone clearly showing some disturbances. And it's just kind of unusual. We go up here, we have Japan.
All right, so you guys remember how I said it originates down in, as it is right here, in New Zealand. All right, there's Auckland, and then north of the New Zealand islands, you see the earthquake activity really popping here on the beginning of the Ring of Fire. So it's starting to spread around the Ring of Fire now.
Zero, whole zone clearly showing some disturbances, and it's just kind of unusual. We go up here, we have Japan. The whole Ring of Fire basically is like lighting up, and so we have this 6.0 there. That was also on the 31st of May. But then just recently, this 5.0 in Russia, and then there's also a 5.8 right there. That was yesterday. Especially at night, you'll cap.
All right, so working its way over to that subduction zone that's right off the coast here, just right in this area right here, just north of San Francisco, off the coast of Oregon. So as you see, all of these earthquakes are starting to cook off, and it's starting to spread, and it's going to spread, and it's going to come down here into that subduction zone. So will we see that puppet kick off? We may need to see some more energy come into the Earth before that kicks off, but we'll see. It could start to awaken a little bit more. So the last I checked, several days ago, they had 1,100 slip earthquakes. So these are deep earthquakes where the plates are slipping all the way from Vancouver all the way down into California. The slow slip basically is a precursor to something big coming. All right, so more and more stuff. We're getting signals that we have something significant that's coming. Now in Switzerland, some of the worst activity in memory and history or whatever is happening over there. I said it was from earthquake activity. That's my field. That's what I've seen, and I think it's going to get, unfortunately, it's going to get a lot worse.
They even stopped down the road and filmed.
So this is Etna. So where's the other one that I was talking about? Maybe I don't have that one. So maybe I'll just jump over to that one. All right. This is Etna blowing up. Look at those tourists running. Run away, run away.
Residents of Sicily are familiar with eruptions of Mount Etna. We hear this all the time, but this eruption is the 14th eruption in recent months, but they didn't see that coming. There was tourist groups with guides and everything up on the mountain.
They didn't see it coming. They haven't been paying attention to me. All right. So this is one of the things that we're going to have to start to look at. People that have, like on the pulse with Silky. She's definitely informing everyone. I remember I promoted her like maybe a couple weeks ago when she had like kind of the same numbers I do for numbers like 70, 73,000 or something like that. Look, she popped up to 112. Now she gets, as you see here, she'll get 117, 280. She gets a lot of views, 424 views. Why don't people subscribe? Because you want to be informed. So if you're getting good information from somebody, you really should subscribe. So as you see here, 4 volcanoes erupting in the same area. And this is danger very high, now massive amount of rocks. This is in Blatten, where in Switzerland. Let's see if I can get it. I think this might be right where I had it.
That water through the
now you see this dam right here. This is further downstream. You see that very dark water with all the stuff from the glacier that poured down and all the rock and mud and everything. So it's very muddy water with a lot of silt in it. It can't turn the turbines, but they can run it out at least at this point. Now, very, very possible that we'll get so much silt that comes down there that it's going to stop this dam.
To create electricity. I have too many sediments and sand and debris and rocks and everything. So
anyway, I think this is going to come down and probably start taking out more towns. There's more towns. There's towns along the way that have been evacuated. So that's going to get worse. We're going to see a lot more of this stuff get worse, guys. And that's the trend. Meanwhile, President Trump is revealing we're getting ready to take down a lot of the deep state actors and so forth. All right. That's all I got for right now. Yeah, deep 10-kilometer earthquakes from DUMBs, but we're not seeing that right now. We're seeing legitimate earthquakes. All right. Lots of love, guys. I'll see you guys next time.